Welcome to Escrow Out Loud, the SF Real Estate podcast from Jackson Fuller Real Estate. Experts on San Francisco real estate since 2002. Podcast notes with links available at jacksonfuller.com/podcast.
Hi, I'm Matt Fuller. Today is Tuesday, April 14th. Today's topic is COVID-19, the end of open houses? As we discussed in episode 100 with Park North's founder and managing broker Kevin Birmingham, when the shelter-in-place order is lifted for San Francisco, it likely won't be back to real estate as usual. One of the most interesting changes is likely to be around open houses. In many markets, open homes aren't as important as they are in San Francisco because in most markets there's widespread adoption of lockboxes, meaning on-demand showings are possible. San Francisco is not a lockbox town for the most part. As long as I've been in real estate, it has not been a lockbox town, and I cannot really see that changing in the near future, particularly given our current price points. So I would expect that we will continue to not be a lockbox town. And because of that, buyers have been conditioned to attend either weekend open homes or weekday twilight tours, and on some occasions during SF Brokers Tour held on Tuesdays. So, to review, the basic listing agent playbook in San Francisco for the last couple decades has been to get your seller to agree to list the property, 10 to 20% under market value. Then you have a scheduled 7 to 14 day marketing period with scheduled open homes, scheduled tours, and minimal private showings to highly interested buyers. The goal is to maximize traffic at open homes, set an offer date, and generate multiple offers so you have essentially a blind bidding contest, and hopefully you generate enough offers that one of those is an outlier far above the rest of the offers. Social distancing most likely puts an end to that strategy. Even when shelter-in-place lifts, there will be social distancing protocols based on what we've heard so far. And for the sake of argument, even if there were no protocols around social distancing, plenty of people are going to want to keep their distance. While there may soon be a day in the future where there is a vaccine, my hunch is that even when that day arrives, people are going to be a little bit psychologically scarred from this experience. And at the back of many of our minds will be, well, even if we have vaccine for COVID-19, what about other novel viruses? And that, part of the new normal is going to be a little bit more distance from people and services that we don't know well. So buyers have always enjoyed open home tours and the chance to go inside of other homes, particularly in San Francisco. Even if those houses are pretty staged and highly curated and they have nothing to do with how people live everyday life, they're still enjoyable to look at. And up to now, there's been zero risk for a buyer to look at another person's house. But now that COVID-19 is present, will buyers want to go to all of the possible open homes, or are they going to be much more selective and just pick one or two that they think are the closest match for what they're looking for? And quite frankly, on the flip side of that, will sellers want an indiscriminate number of buyers coming through their home? Up to this point, online photos have been the first introduction buyers have had to properties. And in some cases, you've got additional media, either a movie or walkthrough or 360-degree photos. But as an industry, we've been incredibly slow to adopt virtual showing formats. So is that about to change? The process right now is that you see photos, decide you're interested, maybe you talk with your agent about it, they tell you more about it, then you go see it in person usually. So is a new middle step going to come along, a process, something that's more immersive than photos to enable, either an augmented reality virtual showing, for the ability for a buyer to walk through the house, without actually walking through the house. So will just the process of buying change. And we see this new kind of intermediate step and really be selective about who is allowed into a property. Or am I completely wrong? Will nothing change and buyers continue to flock into open homes, crowding them up with hundreds of people at a time, as they have done for years and years and years here in San Francisco? So I would love to hear your thoughts on how COVID-19 has changed what you're thinking about wanting from an open house, either as a seller who's considering listing your house or as a buyer who's thinking about attending them in the future. Thanks so much. If you enjoyed this episode of Escrow Out Loud, tell a friend and leave us a great review in your favorite podcast app store.
You've been listening to Escrow Out Loud, the SF Real Estate podcast from Jackson Fuller Real Estate, experts on San Francisco real estate since 2002. Podcast notes with links available at jacksonfuller.com/podcast.